Welcome, GBLAN Tecmo Super Bowl fans. Today we have a matchup between myself, Trojan1979, as the Green Bay Packers taking on Elyons051. We'll just call him Lions in this, and we'll just call myself Trojan. During this matchup, this is one of our group play games. I'm the number 2 seed. He is the number 4 seed in this group. We had played one game already. And let's go ahead and get this one started. This is always a fun matchup. Two teams kind of near the bottom of the barrel, but still have some weapons, both in the quarterback department. You also have two stud wide receivers. You have Sterling Sharp on the Packers. You also have Webster Slaughter. Decent running backs, and where both of these teams kind of struggle is defensively. As man defenders go, the Packers definitely have the advantage with Tim Harris and Bob Nelson as decent hitting power and speedsters getting around, covering people. Where they really struggle is defensively in the secondary, whereas the Browns have Minifield, and then Johnson is also another good option on defense. So, starting out here, just trying to mix up what he thinks I might do. I'm known a little bit for tapping. For those that have played me, been able to get some pretty high tap counts. So I think the running game is something that concerns him most of the time. Able to break away here, get the ball away to Woodside. Able to turn a decent gain there after a called pass one. Offset I formation, looks like he's using Johnson on this play. Another called play. Throw it underneath the Woodside. He really had an opportunity to get in the way of that one, and I think that's just something that Elyons will have to learn, is kind of where the hot routes are with a lot of these pass plays. Where's the open guy typically going to be? Offset I. Looked like I might have had a little bit of an opportunity there, but get gobbled up before I can clear the pack in the middle of the line there. Pass 4. And he leaves Ed West unguarded there. And we've got a touchdown, Dot Mikowski to the toolbox, Ed West. And I like to use, as I'm running the ball, if I think there's a defender that could potentially cause some havoc with knocking down a wide receiver, I'll put a tight end at wide receiver 2. Or a running back with a higher amount of hitting power. So he's got Mack on the return. Mack has some hitting power, can popcorn many of the Packers defenders. Kind of an awkward playbook here. Sticking with Bob Nelson to start the game. And actually after that nice start to his run there, it looked like I might have the beat to contain that run. The wide receivers start blocking me, so nice play to open the game for Elyons and back-to-back. Not looking good here. Bob Nelson getting knocked off the line here. Offset I, sticking with Bob Nelson. Called dive play. Goes back to offset I dive, get to some defensive help. Third down coming up here for Elyons, or just Lions. Goes back up to run 3, looks like, and he gets stopped short of the line of game. We've got 4th down and 4. And instead of taking a Jerry Carrick field goal attempt, decide to go with Mark Murphy here. Goes into coverage, and he has an option, but decides to keep the ball, and I get him just short of the line again. Turnover on downs. He had an option to potentially go up for it. Pass down below. Sticks with Johnson. Mikowski has got a receiver, but decided to keep it on the ground. Mikowski moving pretty well. 25 maximum speed. Talk about my configuration a little bit. I always check Dilwig. You never know what he might be doing. I've got Haddix on the outside of his hitting power for tight end. West, again, his hitting power and receptions ability, a real decent weapon at this tier. And Jackie Harris isn't good. And if I had a problem with West going into bad, I certainly would have utilized him there, but decided to keep West in at that position, and then Woodside and Thompson are where they are. I keep Woodside in at the second slot as he is involved in many passing plays and is a really good receiver. Also makes a good lead blocker for Thompson, who is now running away from the pack here, and looks like Johnson got caught up in the mess. So Thompson in for the touchdown. So, looks like Trojan is up 14-0 here in the second quarter. I want to look a little closer here at Lions' playbook and his utilization of his talent on the field here. Get some drone help there taking away Mac here. So he's picking the plays pretty quickly, but he has the offside eye. Not a terrible playbook. Typically, I'll see this team utilize more of a run and shoot playbook because you have, you want to have kind of one main guy carry the load, and that's Metcalf, unless you see Mac going to good. So there's a fumble on this play, and he's able to hang on to the ball, and just short of the first down here. But he's got two play actions in here, and the first one is the only one that, in my mind, is particularly useful. Doing two strictly limits or severely limits your ability to move the ball in the passing game, especially when you need to go down the field in a hurry. The run two, being that he can't out-tap me, is really not an effective run. Because there's no lead blocking, it's an isolation run play. This time does a nice job with run one. I get caught up underneath there on one of the blockers, and he has a first down. I think with just a couple tweaks in his playbook, I think he could start to see just a little more success. This time, I think he didn't realize he ran over the line of scrimmage because he just stops there instead of going. I think he could have gotten easily 5 yards on that play. Instead, 2nd and 9 after a 1 yard gain with QB Browns. Pass 4 called here. And I really haven't seen him chuck it up until really now. We've got Langhorne. I didn't want to throw it up to Slaughter, who had he really has the best chance for those covered catches. And in this matchup against the secondary, those are fairly safe risks to throw up there. And here we went with the pass one play action that felt like that was the right time for him to try that play in that area of the field. So I decided to call that. Burn some time here as the second quarter is wasting away. But he does kick it in the end zone instead of short, and as a result, I should be able to get at least one play off here. Decide to change who's going where. Get the fastest players down the field in a hurry. So we've got Sharp down below, and then we also have Woodside up top. He likes not to rush me here. And up we go. And almost a diving grab would have been pretty rough for him at that point to try to get back into this one. But he's got a possession. Lions with an opportunity. If he can get some points on the board, then it's certainly a game. And as mentioned before, Mac is able to popcorn many of the Packers defenders and is able to get a pretty decent return there. If you can get the kicker to trip over his own feet, you can definitely You can return kicks back for touchdowns with this team. Not easy, but he has the hitting power to do it. And this time he went with the play action pass 3. And really that's been the one thing where the drones don't behave right, so I've been calling a lot of those pass plays and just taking them away. So far, individually, other plays, he hasn't done much to do damage. So we've had offset eye here using Harris in this play, just trying to clog it up. He gets caught there on the line, which really just destroys any capability on that play for himself. I don't know if he would have had enough to get a first down, but he certainly could have gotten a fourth and manageable. Instead, he's punting it back here to Michael Haddix. Haddix moves okay. Mark Murphy's not the fastest guy in the world, but at this tier is not a bad option. So we've got a punt return past the 20. Just checking conditions here. Woodside isn't good. And now that Woodside's in good, his blocking ability at the bottom is pretty decent. And just checking out some of the other guys here. So I put West in at tight end. And for the receiving threats, I kept the Fontenot in the game. Cold run 3, go right back to it. He's had some challenges so far stopping that play. And we've got 3rd and 4 here. Pass 1 here. He comes up on me, and I just throw it to Sharp, who's wide open. Make the last defender miss, and in for the touchdown. So 3 touchdown deficit here for Elyons. Hasn't really been able to get much going, and normally with this Browns team, you want to be chucking that ball up to Slaughter, and then getting yards with Metcalf. And I've even seen people put Metcalf in at wide receiver, but and then you try to run the ball when people are covered with QB Browns. Just doesn't have the right plays in his playbook. Nothing wrong with the play he called there. The drone just decided, I'm going to go ahead and eat this. So is it like the 2-yard line here inside the 2? Gives the ball to Mac. Not a bad call there just to get some breathing room in 3rd and 9. As a running play, probably hard to find something decent there. And Murphy have been able to slow these plays down. He's got some throwing options here. And I try to get some room here with Slaughter. Browns is pressured and cuts the throw off here. So instead of streaking down the field, Slaughter stops and now buried in his own end. Lions are just going to punt it away here. And one has to wonder at this point, and even a short punt there, he had to rush that kick. I know in this stage of the tournament, he was, I think, pretty much eliminated from contention into the bracket play with the record that he had coming into this game. And one has to wonder if he's sort of throwing in the towel. But it looks like Dillwig, with better stats with Mikowski going in bad, Dillwig being in good. Go with pass 4 here. This time he's not fooled down below. Look like he might try to come up there on Sharp. Gets a deflection. This time we have Fontenot trying to run away from the pack, but the drone gets that last dive there. Touchdown saving tackle. Dive play to Fontenot. Unable to break away in time to get an engagement with me. Herman Fontenot in for the touchdown, and we are now 27-0. And for those of you wondering, as we get later in the game here, why still try to score? We do have a point differential as a seeding determinant. So if you have the same record as someone else, your point differential in margin is what seeds you higher, or potentially even gets you into the bracket if you have a lower record, but you've had close games, and when the games that you won had good differential, you might still make it in. So as much as you hate to, beat down someone who's down on their luck in a game, that's just Tecmo. That's these rules. That's how we use to determine who's a little bit better than someone else with the same record. So 3rd down and 4 coming up here. Again, he just doesn't have a whole lot of big chunks of yards in this game. Goes up to Mac. 17 that time. 4th down and 2 coming here. Those of you that wonder what that meter is, when there is a grapple, oh, and Tim Harris gets him. Probably does this gun salute there that he used, his little gun celebration. This ROM has been hacked. We have a pass to burn route here to Sharp, touchdown. It's called the tap meter ROM, TPC_tap meter. What that is when you engage in a grapple, the player, when you tap the button, that number is recorded. So it gives you an idea who's tapping faster in the game, and it's something that we can comment on. And it's also just proof, like how fast is this person tap? Well, now we have the metrics. It's not a per second tap, it's a per grapple tap. The highest I've tapped, I think, in a game during this tournament is 18. Seen it a few times. Your most of your decent players that out tap, if you're starting to hit 12, you're still going to out tap most people. If you're getting out, 15 above, that's certainly elite territory. The regulators and the gamer of the world, and I've seen numbers of 18, 19 show up in their list. The gamer when we tapped, we played a pickup game at Thunder Bowl. I couldn't out tap them once. Everyone has a little bit of their own controller that they use. I have a iBuffalo. Button action is really good. It's not clogged with 30 years of gunk and wear and tear. QB Browns throws this up here, probably the last play or two here to Langhorn. Over his head, just trying to get something on the board for respect here. 3rd down and 15. And I have to try to keep him from scoring. And try to get that quick dive with Harris, and even breaking away there with no man defender, he's still unable to get anything going here. So an unusual thing here, playing the Browns, I don't know if I've ever seen this. There were no completions in the game. That's a new one for me. Sterling Sharp, a couple grabs, that touchdown grab from Dilwig, and then that over-the-top touchdown from Mikowski on a 3rd down play. Got those yards in there. So for the most part, didn't really have to rely too much through the air. It was pretty balanced, had some short fields to work with. 215 yards. I'm sorry, on the ground between both teams, but not having any passing yards, that's not gonna win you any games. So, my advice to Lions would be that we got to get the playbook optimized for your team. And then get a little more familiar with, just memorizing your past timings on those plays and know how to manipulate people. And when you have a team with a quarterback like that, you got to spread the defense out when you're in the passing game, and when you have 2 play action passes, it's really difficult to do that. So. Well, I'd like to thank you for watching this Tecmo Super Bowl tournament group play game. Again, this is Trojan1979 signing off, and we'll catch you next time on Online Tecmo.